my undergrad with Hasan.
It's all right.
We were roommates, and I'm from the public housing projects in Washington, D.C. Hasan grew up in the public housing projects in New York. And we met each other at this incredibly expensive school. And we happened to be roommates, completely disjointed from the new reality that we had embraced. And I know he's tearing up because the first conversation we had with each other, we looked each other in the eye, and we said, we will not fail. It was a tall order, because we knew something of the status of young men who had come from our backgrounds. But we also knew something else. If we do this, and if we do it right, we just may emerge stronger than most. I want to share with you perhaps one of Hasan's first entrepreneurial experiences. You know, we had some of the gentlemen at the front table stand up. And, you know, we attended, and for our undergrad, we did attend Hobart William Smith Colleges in Geneva, New York. And, you know, one of our friends, Winfield, was sitting on the quad at the time. It was time to pack up our things for the summer. You know, the college students got to go back home, and, you know, but you got all your stuff in your dorm, and you got to put it somewhere. Now, this is a university with a bunch of brilliant people, right? And Warren said, you know, there has to be a way for all of the other college students to, a cost-effective way for them to store their items. Why is it that in a town like Geneva, New York, you have these huge storage bins, and all the students have to just run around and find a way to store their items? When each student purchases a storage bin or get together with a friend or two, they're spending maybe $200, $300, $400. Why don't we find a way to make that happen? To make a long story short, here we are, young men, black men. That's a big deal, that matters. A university where the vast majority of people are not black. And we come up with this business plan where we made a proposition to the students on campus. We said, for $65, we could come to the front steps of your dorm, gather your things, store them in a bin, insure it, and when you return to campus, we'll take those things and we'll drop them off in front of the next dorm that you'll be living at the next year. They laughed at us. Until it was time for them to store their things. And they realized that $65 with someone showing up at the front door of your dorm, grabbing your incredibly heavy and arguably inexpensive items, and taking them to a storage bin, securing them and dropping them off to you, was a steal for the ages. And so the same people who laughed at us were our best customers. Now, this came from a spirit of depravity. We wanted cars. We weren't thinking about really helping people. We didn't really care much about the average student, and really, if they had an opportunity to store their things, we weren't that benevolent, to be honest with you. We wanted a car, you know. And in Geneva, New York, life just, it's not the same without a car. Make a long story short, we turned $400 into $4,000. That's a big deal if you do it in 4 days. Now, why do I bring up that story? I have another story that you did not give me permission to share. There's this place in Daytona Beach called Spring Break, where a lot of college students would get together to work on their thesis. And, you know, same story, we would grow. And so, but we wanted to go. We were tired of seeing it, MTV, you know, on, anybody remember that era? So, we were tired of seeing MTV advertise the Christian revival that was taking place in Daytona Beach, Florida, for spring break. And we wanted to go down there to help. And so I believe it was Hasan who came up with the brilliant idea. Yo, it's snow everywhere. So, we're in college. People shovel the snow for us. All of a sudden, from the projects, when we got bougie all of a sudden. Yo, people shovel snow for us. Yo, I can stay here forever. Like, you know. But no, the entrepreneurial spirit now has been ignited. And so what we did was we took 4 shovels, and with only our arms, our biceps, and our backs, we went around Geneva, New York, and we shoveled front porches, we shoveled driveways, and we developed enough money to rent us a Grand Marquis. And we took that, what was it, 15-hour, 18-hour drive down to Daytona Beach, and we really helped with the revival. I bring that story up not to celebrate our ministry in Daytona Beach, Florida. I bring that story up because I want you to understand the DNA of the person who leads this organization. There are people who invest in products, and then there are people who invest in people. When you have the right people, you can actually take an orange and turn it into an apple. Impossible becomes possible when you have the right people. And this is not an event to celebrate Hasan. Oh, but it is, because Hasan was very humble and far too meek when he said, oh, this really wasn't me, it was the other guys. I'm just standing here grandstanding like I really contributed to really making this thing happen. I just attended a couple of meetings, I gave a little bit of advice, but this dude took this thing and he rocked it, he rolled it, he built it. So I wanted to share that story with you because I want everyone in this room to think not just about the presentation of the occasion, but truly think about the spirit of the occasion. I come as far as Washington, D.C. We have our own problems in D.C., okay? But I came here, I don't really have a connection with Syracuse. I hear things are, you know, things are tough here. It's really not my issue. I came here because you got a person here that I know that when he touches something, he turns it into gold. And I don't know what the season is for how long you'll have this person doing this work. But I challenge you, if you've never seen a jewel, this is one. Here is your opportunity to invest, not just in the product, but you're a person here who can turn things into gold. Now, I know I've been accused by my friends of sounding like I'm from a pulpit. I'm really not, right? I do go to church, you know, when I'm supposed to. But I do. But I want you to keep in mind that when you have an opportunity to invest in someone who actually is gifted, and they have the DNA, and last but not least, when you see the young lady stand up here and can give the glowing remarks about how this organization has inspired her. I see Hasan over there tearing up. You know, we're gonna laugh at him later over that. But you know, not to get too spiritual, but the Bible talks about how you know them by their sheep.
That's right.
Right? You know, there are people who can give a great presentation. They can talk well, and they can make you feel all cozy. You know, but you should ask the question, where are your sheep?
That's right.
A season ought to pass where you can ask, well, show me your fruit. And I remember when this tree was fruitless, it was just a seed planted in the ground. And I know people who laugh at me. Some of them are not in this room right now, but they know what's going on. And so I challenge you to invest not just in a product, because you can pick any organization that does well. There are websites that are better than yours. There are glowing stories that are even better than this young lady's story. It'll sound good, it'll have bells and whistles, it'll make you feel real cozy. But I'll put a big dollar from my bank account on the person who leads this mission. I truly believe that in a small town like Syracuse, you have tapped into something that can survive generations. Not just because of the product, but because of the person who leads this organization. I challenge you. Before he gets kidnapped and taken to another city or another town.
That's right.
That's really not a joke, because people of his character eventually get propositioned to go do great work other places. As a matter of fact, there's an argument that can be made that there are people who don't understand why he would make such a commitment given his skill set and his gifts to a small town. I'm talking business, I'm not talking personality here. Why would you contribute such a gifted skill set to a small town like Syracuse? Because he loves being here, and he loves the people here. I challenge you to take your time, your energy, and yes, your money, and invest in the good work that is happening here.